Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you so much for our time together. I'd like us to go back to the book of 2 Chronicles today to some of these little obscure thoughts about the kings. I want us to look at a king today who turned very evil. His name is Jehoram. He becomes king when he's 32 years old, 2 Chronicles chapter 21, verse 4 and 5. And immediately when he becomes king, he puts all of his brothers to the sword along with some of the princes of Israel. You say, oh my goodness, what a nasty guy. He kills his own flesh and blood. What in the world is going on with this guy? And then you find that he remains an evil king. And you ask yourself the question, why? Well, look at verse 6. For he married a daughter of Ahab. He married the wrong woman. Instead of marrying a godly woman that would encourage him to seek God, he married a woman who was in total rebellion against God, who had been raised to hate God, who had been raised by the king of Israel. Remember, Judah and Israel are split at this time, who had set up a false worship system with a false temple and false priests and false prophets and everything else. He married out of that. And for every day of his life, that wicked woman turned him into a wicked man, even though he had been raised well by his father and his grandfather. Now, when he dies, he leaves a young son, 22 years old, named Ahaziah, as king. And this poor boy, instead of following the ways of his grandfather and his great-grandfather Jehoshaphat and Asa, he becomes even more wicked than his father. Why? Look at verse 3 of chapter 22. He too walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, for his mother encouraged him in wrongdoing. That woman that Jehoram married now corrupts his son to go in the same direction. Now the boy dies off very quickly too, and then you get over to the end of chapter 23, and then you find Athaliah, the mother of Azariah, saw that her son was dead, and she proceeded to destroy the whole royal family of the house of Judah. Now, you look at this and you go, my goodness, why couldn't Jehoram have married a better woman? Now, my friends, please listen to me. Life is too short to marry the wrong person, and life is too long to marry the wrong person, and life has too many consequences to marry the wrong person. Young people, you want to marry somebody who has a heart for God. You want to marry somebody who will encourage you in the things of God. You don't want to marry a missions project. Please forgive me, let me say that again. You don't want to marry a missions project. You don't want to marry into someone whose family is serving the devil and wants nothing to do with the things of God and will always pull your heart into wickedness, because they will not only destroy your life, they will not only corrupt your decisions, they will corrupt your children's decision. Now, if you would like a peaceful life, let me encourage you to marry a good, godly woman. If you are a woman and you would like a peaceful life, let me encourage you to marry a good, godly man. Learn the lessons of these kings. Guys, forgive me, she may be beautiful, but if she doesn't have a heart for God, you are marrying a demon who is going to torment you every day of your life. Ladies, please forgive me. He may be as handsome as an angel, but if he doesn't have a heart for God, you are marrying a demon that will torment you every day of your life and your children after you. Please, marry a godly person in Jesus' name. Do not be joined together with those that you're unequally yoked with. Marry a good Christian.